there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujarong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
I thought you come and tell them you support, make sure to support me in the next election. President Daddy is one person who's always.
Yeah, my name is Jasity Kaldata from City, Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Yeah, this is it. As we go down here, this is the ending of one part. This concludes a section for like that man, big contractor. This thing we're breaking up is the blinding what they put before you put down the big eye concrete rise. And this area that we're going to, you see, road construction. That you cannot just see we come up here, we coming up back. And this is this steel thing here, so. This is a great ride. This is a great expansion of steel. And nothing can travel on the northern carriageway of this road. You got to use the southern carriageway. So Mark, this is it I promised you. And I've brought it to you. When I get home now, I'm going to be sending it to you WhatsApp, and you will know what to do. So goodbye on my trip, second trip to Vietnam in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Good evening, everyone. A pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome to Over to You. I hope everyone is doing okay. All right, you know, we're all very concerned at the moment, but hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. Listen, we have overcome for so many years. Okay? I don't see there being any hurdle that we cannot overcome. A pleasant good evening to you all, my brothers and sisters. Please go ahead and like your program and share your link. Over to you, a program for the people, by the people. Again, I am honored this evening to be your host once again. Please share the link, like the program. Carlisle Madhu, good evening. Marcia Jackman, Vashti Megnat, pleasant good evening to you guys. Mr. Victor Ben, good evening to you, sir. Abdul Monroe, good evening. Good evening, Lorraine Beat, Denise Beard, Keith Beresford. A pleasant good evening to you, the Honorable Mr. Keith Beresford. Susan London, good evening. Bantu King, my brother, good evening. Good evening. Great to see you. Sylvia Allen, The Honorable Mr. Colin Barnwell. Colin, is great to see you, sir. A true freedom fighter. Mary Figueroa, good evening. Claudette Bovell Lewis, good evening. Francis Edwards, good evening. Heather Maline, good evening. Ahmet Lewis, Matthew Dennison, yes, my brother. Harlem in the house, yes, correct. Sharon Griffith, good evening. Terrence Beaton, Sandra Sargent, Orin Paris, good evening, everyone. Miss Brenda Braithwaite. Miss Brenda Braithwaite, how are you this evening? I hope you're doing really, really well. Rajendra D. Knott, good evening. Yvonne Castillo, Pam Halls, I see you, good evening. Yvonne Rodriguez, Lyndon Gill, good evening, everyone. Wilson Kilkenny, good evening to you, sir. Kenneth DeFleurmont, you're in the house, my brother. Golly God, I see you. Good evening, good evening. Please, guys, share the link, or else Golly God will let you guys know to share the link. Palo Walla Pride, Pinky Kerr, good evening. Isabella Butters, Elaine Schroeder, Brenda Norton, Janet Elias, my good friend, good evening. Rear Garway Mingo, good evening. Good evening, Barney's Bob Carter. Good evening, everyone. If I didn't call your name, okay, I may have just missed it. Robin Morgan, good evening. Samuel Mingo, I see you, sir. Ainsworth McKen. Chandra Paul Mahabir, my excellent friend, good evening. Audrey Brown, I see you. Marianne Hamilton, good evening. Miss Rhonda Lane, the Honorable Miss Rhonda Lane. Miss Rhonda Lane, thank you for all you do and continue to do. Thank you for providing 107.1 FM with that piece of the road construction. You know, we are seeing these road constructions. It's not durable at all. You know, the jobs are half a jobs. The contractors doesn't seem to have the confidence and you know, the expertise to do these roads correctly. Cherry Jeffrey, Darkers John, good evening. Kunta Kenta, Jinga, good evening, good evening. All right, everyone. Sandra Sargent, I see you. Cecil Chappell, I see you. Good evening, everyone. Again, welcome to the program. Please like and share the link. Simone Brown, Lawrence James, good evening. Good evening, everyone. So, all right, guys, we are here. Lots have happened in the week, particularly one story that stands out. And today, the Over to You team, okay, stands in solidarity with our sister, fellow activist, Melissa Ann Atwell, aka Melly Mel. We stand with her today, okay? We know that she has been detained. We know that she is currently at a detention center somewhere in Louisiana. We asked those officials there to just make sure that she's treated properly, she's treated correctly. We hope that, you know, she's well taken care of and is comfortable. At this time, outside of that, I do not have any further updates. I would leave that to her attorneys and competent individuals, and I would encourage you guys to do the same thing. Don't worry with everything that you see on Facebook. Not saying that some certain things are not authentic, but please do not gravitate to everything that you see individuals post on Facebook regarding this issue. Okay, we'll wait for the information from her attorneys and obviously competent individuals who are close to Melly Mel and close to the situation. Okay, that's where we stand. For now, we know that this is all intimidation tactics by the PPP government, and it will not work. Okay, because listen, every human being have their freedoms. Okay, and if you're operating within the confines, within the ambits of the law, you should not have to worry about anything. All right, because we all have our rights. There's laws that are in place, and laws should stand for everyone, right? It shouldn't just be a convenient situation where, you know, you pull in a Melly Mel and you think that you're gonna just shut up everyone. Everyone else is gonna just shut up. We understand our rights, okay? And our rights cannot be infringed upon. All right? Our rights cannot be infringed upon. We are gonna stand up for our rights. So you guys see, I had to just throw on a black shirt today to show that I stand in solidarity, and I'm gonna call the brother's name to the brothers out tonight. I know it was women's International Women's Day last week. And, you know, we honor the women. We continue to honor our women, whether it's International Women's Day or not. We will continue to honor our women. But tonight, I'm going to give a call out to the gentlemen tonight. Last night, man, I sit down and I watch one of the better shows that I have ever sat down and watched with Brother Mark Benchcop and Brother Thomas Anderson. It was an excellent program last night where they give detailed breakdown of all the possibilities and probabilities, you know, concerning this whole matter. Also, I want to give a nice little call out to Brother Hector Nature Boy Stout, who was on yesterday and continually giving updates to the people as he received them. And many others would have spoke out and stood out. Dr. David Hines and Dr. Vincent Adams on Friday. Brother Otto Martin has been, the small man has been continuously hitting on this issue. Clinton Hollingsworth, it's just a whole list of people have come to the forefront. And this matter have brought a lot of people together collectively. And is this a good thing? Yes, it's not just a good thing, it's an excellent thing. It just shows that we can come together, but we don't need to just come together in time of trials like this. Okay? And where I'm segueing here is that, you know, there's a chance that elections can be called in July, and we don't have a coalition. We don't have a formed coalition as yet. So we cannot behave like the PPPC. We cannot want to come together and want to do things with others when it is convenient. Okay? We have to understand that, you know, what we are doing here should not be an individual thing. It's about the people of Guyana. And they should be first and foremost. Okay? I'm gonna deal with that later. I wanna stay on this Melissa Atwell issue for a little bit here, because I believe that it is intimidation tactics by the PPPC. And, you know, there's a saying that charity and everything, not just charity, everything begins at home, you know. And before you want to go there and you want to talk about other people, I believe that you need to examine yourself. Because if you ask me, Melissa Atwell is not responsible for extrajudicial killings in Guyana. Okay? Melissa Atwell is not responsible for Guyanese, 53% of them living in poverty. Okay? Melissa Atwell is not responsible for a 25% matriculation rate. Okay? But you want to conveniently, you know, intimidate everyone from speaking and pull her in. We stand by our sister. Okay? We are here. We are hoping for the best. And at the same time, we are preparing for the worst. And when I say preparing for the worst, I'm not talking about preparing, you know, and thinking that, oh, Melissa will be harmed in any way or form. No, she cannot be harmed in any way or form. This is not the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and no. No. Where all kind of things was done to Black women. That we are not dealing with those days anymore. That is not happening. Okay? That is not happening. Okay? That will not be tolerated. It's not happening. Okay? So I lay down the gauntlet with that. Okay? When I talk worst case scenario, she is returned to Guyana, and I do not expect that. I'll be honest with you. Right? But just let's say to the extent that something like that would happen, she cannot be touched in any way or form, because obviously there would have to be repercussions. Okay? All right? Black people are not in this world to be beaten and trampled upon by people. Okay? That's not going to be the case. It was tried once. It happened for 400 plus years, and it ain't happening anymore. It's just not happening anymore, period. All right? So I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I am confident. Okay? And we will sit down and wait to see what will come out of this. But while I am at this, I want to ask the government of Guyana, the Guyana Police Force, the DPP, the judiciary, and everybody who stood and looked at that video, that Vice News video. Y'all didn't think that something should have been done about that? Nothing was done there. Why are you guys hustling with Melissa Atwell? Why? Look, this is just not going to work. This is not adding up. It's not fair, and it could never work. All right? It can't work. You got a first vice president. Well, you saw the guy. It's not hearsay. We saw the video, ladies and gentlemen. The video's played back on this station 1,000,000 times. No arrest, no questioning by the Guyana Police Force, nothing. Is there a Guyana Police Force? You want to beg to ask that question. Many have called it the Guyana PPP Force. If the first vice president is just allowed to just walk and do whatever he wants to do, let's remember, these same people, they're supposed to be public servants in an executive position. Okay? And if they are allowed the latitude of such lawlessness, if they are allowed to work outside of the ambits of the law and get away with it, then why can't the normal man and woman do it? You know, all kind of things pass through my head, ladies and gentlemen, that with what we see in Guyana, with how the infrastructure in Guyana is built out, the economic and financial infrastructure in Guyana is built out, we might as well just go ahead and legalize corruption. We might as well just go ahead and legalize corruption. Look, I applaud my sister, Melissa Atwell, for her bravery. Okay. The Guyanese people have trusted her, and they have given her the liberty to advocate on their behalf. And they have given her a lot of information. They've made a lot of information available to her. And it has to be individuals who are close to this government also. Okay? So, look, we just have to wait and see. Okay? But we stand in solidarity with our sister. All right? Now, let's segue here a bit. We're going to segue because we know that there's a possibility. Yes, Audrey Brown, thank you. Audrey Brown, thank you very much. I was made aware of this today, that a Guyanese vessel allegedly was found with a very large sum of cocaine. And when the person made it aware to me bring my awareness to it, I turned to the person and I said, look, man, money gotta make. All right. Oil could be pumping, but money still have to be made. The drugs still have to move. All right. That's how the business go. All right. We got to move the drugs. We got to get what we got to get from oil. And, you know, we just want to get rich beyond rich. Right. And keep the Guyanese people in subjugation. And why I say that? Because Vibes Cartel is going to be rolling into Guyana pretty soon. And all the Guyanese going to take their $100,000 cash grant. Most of them, a lot of the young ones. And I know a lot of them, their parents would have gotten the $100,000 cash grant. And a lot of them also, their parents are aware of these programs. Speak to your young children. Ladies and gentlemen, speak to your young children. They are the future of Guyana. If they continue along this trend, okay, Guyana is going to have a bright future, but not led by young, born and bred Guyanese. You guys see the amount of Venezuelans that are on the ground in Guyana. The agents of Venezuela, they are already on the ground in Guyana. You have to educate your children. Okay? You get $100,000, try to build on it, try to build to the point that you can get yourself a piece of land and start to build out your life. Put it on the bank and forget that you ever had it. I know it's a tough thing to do, given the cost of living in Guyana, right? But listen, guys, it is your quote-unquote attorney general in Guyana that came out and said, oh, Guyanese are living much better. Look how they dress. Look, I don't know since when how people dress. You understand me? Can give you a gauge on their quality of life and can give a gauge on everybody's quality of life. The jewelry that they're wearing, lawlessness. Anil Nandala, that's what you guys promote in the PPP, lawlessness. All right? We have much more guns on the street. Soon as an African Guyanese talk to thing, you see the Indo Guyanese got to his waist, pull out his gun and threaten them. Power. That's what you call power. How did that happen? Because everybody sat down. Everybody sat down and just allow certain people to just evolve. And they sit in government and they build out the infrastructure, the food infrastructure. Everything is controlled. Everything is controlled. Okay? A new government in Guyana right now will suffer tremendously. There is a lot to break down. There is a whole lot to break down. And to know that there's a chance that elections will be called in 4 to 5 months and a coalition is not put together, how do you go out and promote your vision? What? Everything is going to be at the last minute? It's concerning. It's concerning to me. It's concerning to most people on these programs. The people are showing the effort of wanting to come together. But where are the leaders? The leaders are supposed to be leaders of the people. So if it's going to be a case where the people are leading the leaders and themselves, then you ask the question, why have leaders? Why have leaders? We need a massive shake-up in leadership in Guyana. We need to stop recycling the same politicians. It is hurting the nation. Somebody like Barrett Jagdeo need to disappear from politics. He has been there long enough. My goodness. Some 32 years the PPP has had their thumbs on Guyana. And look at the state of the nation. Don't worry with a couple new buildings that has gone up over the last 5 years that the oil money has been booming. While it appears that the last 5 years was indeed the oil boom, and I call that. That this oil boom, it's not going to be something that is sustainable. Not at that rate. Our GDP is expected to grow about 10 or 11%. That's their projection. Again, I am projecting somewhere anywhere between 15 and 18%. I have not seen much change in the prices of gas at the pumps. So that tells me, okay, that the Guyana GDP is in a good position. And it would exceed what has been projected. But while I say that, Guyana being in an excellent position from a GDP perspective does not trickle to the normal Guyanese man and woman, and that's where we're experiencing major issues, particularly with poverty. And we also do have food shortages in Guyana. We have less than 1 million people. Why is it not that we are in a secure position where we have food security for all our people, overflowing to the point that we can export and really live up to the name of being the breadbasket of the Caribbean? Right now, we are just a basket. And it appears as if our basket is stretching out to collect instead of stretching out to give. And that is not good. It doesn't show good, competent governance. The other thing, it is very, very shaky for Guyana. Okay? We cannot get a good run of consistency where the country is safe. Whenever Venezuela feel like if we're in a good position, they start encroaching to annex Essequibo. Is that the way Guyanese are going to be forced to live? Where you got to walk and you got to take an eye and put in the back of your head? Because you don't know when Venezuela is going to encroach on you. Is that what Guyana has become now? But yet, I am of the belief that Barrett Jagdeo would have done a treasonous act by just letting Venezuelans in. You have to vet people, and you have to vet them thoroughly. Because a government look, one of the main jobs of a government is to make sure that its citizenry is safe. It is critical, it is essential that citizens feel safe in their own country. You just let in people and just start giving them birth certificates and working with two chows and all. Corruption. Corrupt actions. Just because you want to pad votes for the PPPC. Because studies have shown over and over again that you guys are not in a winning position. You see, that's the difference between Barra Jagdeo and a lot of the leaders in the opposition. Barra Jagdeo must keep his thumb on Guyana at all costs. At all costs. And while it might seem as if the PPP is in prime position right now, not exactly. Have you guys watched Barra Jagdeo's press conferences over the last couple of weeks? They lack substance. I was reading a little piece by veteran reporter Mr. Adam Harris. Okay, authentic, credible Mr. Adam Harris. I was doing a reading, something that was written by Adam Harris, and he was key to point out the fact that since the opposition press conference was moved to Friday after Barra Jagdeo's press conference, he has lost his way with finding significant issues to address. Look, issues like blackouts in Guyana, issues like what? Cash grant distribution. These are issues that Barra Jagdeo does not want to address. Rice farming issues, these he does not. GCOM issues, he does not want to address those issues because he knows exactly what the PPPC is doing. Again, I'm going to say this. The Guyana Elections Commission has done a disservice to the people of Guyana. It has infringed on their democratic right, okay, to a clean voters list, free and fair elections, and also biometrics to go along with that voters list to make sure that the elections runs as flawless as possible. And who would have head up that? No other than Barra Jagdeo. Guyanese, you have to come out in your overwhelming numbers and vote this government out. Listen, you know that something is wrong with a government when they're hiring lobbying firms to come up to the US and go to Washington and lobby on their behalf. You know that something is wrong with that government. You know that their ulterior motive is not a motive to serve the people of Guyana. Okay? You know that that government is not independent in both fact and appearance. $50,000 US a month for lobbying. We have pensioners. We have the palms that you can make sure that, you know, you're taking care of those people there better. Okay? Look, somebody could be on their deathbed, ladies and gentlemen, and people may look at them and say, well, this person don't serve a purpose anymore. Yes, everybody serves a purpose because somebody have to look at that person, okay, until God decides to call that person home. That's a job. Okay? That's a job. So the person is serving a purpose. And also it is our responsibility that once someone is breathing and alive, we treat them with some measure of dignity and respect. I remember, you know, it just triggered me. I remember when we were dealing with COVID. And Barry Jagdeo came on his press conference and said, look, people are going to die. That's not what I would want to tell people. That's not what I would want to tell people. That people are going to die. Okay? That's not good. Ladies and gentlemen, we are soon going to be going into a commercial break. It's 7:42 p.m. here on the US side. We will be taking a commercial break shortly. So if you see a commercial break in, do not worry. Okay, we're due for a commercial break at any time. While I say this though, and we wait for the commercial break, we still have Guyanese with the COVID cash grant slips, the pink slips, sitting around. And we have $100,000 cash grant, currently being distributed. I asked the PPP, are you going to honor those COVID cash grant pink slips? Because from what I'm understanding is that most of those slips are being held more so by Guyanese of African descent. And that can spell an issue because this government has shown themselves to be lacking in the area when it comes to addressing Guyanese of African descent issues. Okay? So here's a chance for you guys to do the right thing. And when I say do the right thing, not do the right thing and you get a feather in the cap and the people would like you to stay around. No, the PPP needs to be gone. The PPP needs to be gone. Enough is enough. We've seen enough corruption. Okay? We have seen enough corruption. You had a sitting member of parliament who was involved with a young lady and all these different things. You had the disaster at Maria where we lost 20 or 21 young people there. It's just been a disaster. It's just been a disaster. I don't care about your road contracts and who you're giving contracts to and all these kind of things. That money is not yours, it's taxpayers' money. So Guyanese have a right to receive contracts. So if you think that you're doing something special there's nothing special about that. All right? There's nothing special about giving out a contract. It's taxpayers' money. It doesn't matter how much you work with the US government and all of this stuff to try to gain staying power, to stay in power in Guyana. It's that same government that would have called for the coalition government to give up power. You had CARICOM, you had the Carter Center, you had all of them. Even the US ambassador, the British High Commissioner, and everybody, Canadian ambassador, and everybody was involved in the 2020 elections to push the narrative that the PPP must get in power because everybody know it was already set up that way. That once we're going to start oil extraction, the PPP has to be there. It was set up. And in this whole setup, all right, there was no plan for equity for normal Guyanese. Could you believe that? And you guys go to the polls and you guys vote to put people in power for proper representation. And this is what happens. They go in and they enrich themselves. People of late has been telling me, oh, you cannot tie anything to any of the ministers in Guyana. Yes, you can. You can. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just look at their inner core. Look at the people around them. When you do forensic, it's not just the minister, it's everybody. Everybody in that inner core and even outer core. has to show how they have gained their wealth. Okay? You have to show how you've gained your wealth. You can't be nothing and then you go into government and in 1 year you have this and in 2 years you have that and in 3 years you're wealthy as heck. And you sit down comfortable. What about the people around you? What about the people that you're supposed to be serving? Are you not looking at them to see if they have amassed any wealth and what the quality of life for them look like? Look, I'm just asking simple questions to the PPP here. It's very, very simple 1, 2, 3 questions I'm asking here. You know? Barry Jagdeo, you sat there for what? 3 decades, 2 years. Can you show me, where the lives of Guyanese have really improved? Can you? Show me the exceptional things that you have done. Come on your press conference and talk about what you have really done for the Guyanese people. You don't have topics right now. So come and explain to them. Give them a breakdown of what you have done, Barry Jagdeo. Tell them about the fiber optic cables. Tell them about the one computer per home. Tell them about these projects. Tell them about the Barbies River Bridge that was built at the mouth of the Barbies River. Okay? That I believe should still have a shelf life of another 10 years. Because it has not worked a fraction as hard as the Demerara Harbor Bridge. But yet, Jagdeo, you come on your press conference and you criticize Burnham and you talk all these things about Burnham. How can you? How can you come on your press conference and criticize Burnham? You can coherently put 2 sentences together, Barry Jagdeo, because of the education that Forbes Burnham have allowed you to have. Think about it. You are currently the head and tail of a party that was created by Forbes Burnham. So we can go on and on, Barry Jagdeo. We can go on and not just you. Your Indian supporters who praise you like a god. I know you guys invited Modi to Guyana. But I'm going to tell you guys this. You guys are going to be disappointed. Because in no way or in no form is Guyana becoming an Indo state. It can't be. Guyana has got a strong Guyanese of Amerindian descent history. Guyana have got a strong Guyanese of African descent history. Though we see that you guys are trying to infringe on that and wipe it away. And this is where our brothers and sisters on the ground in Guyana has to stand up and not allow anybody to disrespect your history. Your history is rich. Our East Indian brothers and sisters, when they came to Guyana, they came to they came and find an emancipated people. Thanks to our ancestors who have given their lives for that. Look, I'm looking at my brother, Ian Williams. And you know, Ian is a consistent contributor on these programs. And he's saying that he's fed up. He is fed up with the opposition. The opposition has to do better. The opposition has to do better. Today is the 15th day of March. Today is the 15th day of March. And we don't have a coalition as yet. Right now, any campaigning that is going on by the parties, they're campaigning their own individual vision. When are the Guyanese people going to see a collective vision? 3 weeks before elections? Come on. Come on. Come on, leaders. You guys are smart enough to know that that is not fair. You guys are smart enough to know that that is not fair. You cannot give a vision to the Guyanese people 3 weeks before election. Okay? It shows incompetence on your part. It shows total incompetence on your part. And the Guyanese people are already experiencing gross incompetence with the PPP that's currently sitting in government. Oh man, when y'all gonna give them a break? Look, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know that, I always try to restrain myself and I try to remain as calm as possible. Comrade Nigel Hughes, you need to come to the table. You need to come to the table. Somebody need to start calling people. You have to come to the table. You see, I don't like to get personal, but we have to come to the table. Comrade Norton, you have to come to the table. I'm not going to call Dr. Hines. Dr. Hines been waiting at the table. Dr. Hines been waiting on, he's sitting there waiting on everybody. He is sitting there and waiting on everybody. Look, people are saying in the comments they don't think it's going to be a coalition. Look, man. You see that thing called selfishness? You see that thing called selfishness and greed? I despise it. Hate is a strong word to use. I hate selfishness. I do. I do. This is not about any particular leader. But goodness, this is for the people of Guyana, man. You guys have no dignity. You guys have no respect. We have been calling for this for some time. Since the biannual congresses would have finished, we started calling for these parties to start coming together and to start meeting. This is shameful. This is shameful. I don't care who is upset with me. If you vex, you vex. That's it. That's just it. Like I said before, I have an obligation to the people of Guyana. When it comes to them, I have to speak. It is mandatory that I speak. I cannot hold back anything. This government is damaging the fabric of Guyana. Okay? The young people are being totally decimated by this government. They don't have a compass. They don't have a vision for success in Guyana. My question is, what are we going to do about it? You guys going to give the PPPC 5 more years? You're going to give them 5 more years to dig Guyana into a deeper hole? It's a runaway train, leaders of the opposition. It's a runaway train. My question to you guys is, when are you guys going to bell the cat and slap the brakes on that train? We cannot show up at Buxton Mashamani, Georgetown Mashamani, Linden Mashamani, and we mash and we dance up and we go on. That's not addressing the Guyanese people. That is not addressing the Guyanese people. All right? My sister Beverly Ann Romaine. Yeah, you got a point. I guess Mr. Norton might be fed up also. Mr. Norton, if you're fed up, make it public. Make it public. Okay? If you're fed up, make it public. The people need to know that you're fed up. We cannot preempt. The people cannot preempt. With that being said, though, I believe I can fairly say that Mr. Norton is willing to come to the table. I don't believe he really looks at any other way but a coalition going forward. Are there other alleyways? Yes, they are. You can go and you can make, yes, the PPP a minority government in parliament. Is that going to bring around the change? Is that going to bring about the changes that is needed for Guyana? The framework of the judiciary needs to be changed. The finance and economic framework in Guyana needs to be investigated thoroughly, from GRA right through everybody. Thoroughly. I don't trust nobody. Period. They haven't given me reason to. $4 I'm not going to mention names, but 4 years after somebody have imported vehicles, you're now levying taxes. This look like if it's all internal business. You're good. But the day you decide to challenge me, that's the day you're going to pay all the taxes and do all the stuff that I would have allowed you. I would have allowed you. I would have given you a pass on. Everything is, it's a body system, ladies and gentlemen. Guyana is a big body system. You know? Hey, man, we can support you. We're going to buy 2 warplanes from India. Yeah, we can give you all this money and you give us 2 warplanes that is good enough to go into what? What again? The library. Because they can fly. They got to go into, not library, the museum. Sorry, guys. Did we not purchase 2 warplanes, ladies and gentlemen? Help me out, guys. Help me out here, man. Come on. Y'all got to help me because you guys know these things. You guys know these things. We did purchase 2 military planes, right? Didn't we? My question is, where are those planes? Where are the 2 military planes that we would have purchased? We have $1 trillion budgets. We should be investing tremendously in drones to scan our borders. Not 2 drones. 2 drones scan. Guyana is 83,000 square miles, so crying out loud. Okay? We need more than 2 or 4 drones to scan. We need to hire drone operators and have them, surveying our borders. All right? We need to build out some defense infrastructure to keep Venezuela at bay. Meaning that we need to get into a situation where we are building a special ground force unit in Guyana. Like the late, great Lyndon Forbes Burnham used to have. He had experts on the ground that were experts in forest fighting. What did that do? It deterred Venezuelans. You understand me? Encroachment abilities. They didn't just do it. They think twice because they know what the repercussions could be. Right now, there's no repercussions. Right? We just got a set of guys sitting there. You guys, the PPP doesn't want to give equity to soldiers in Guyana. And look, I don't like to go down this road, but what it looks like every time African Guyanese are in a position of advantage where they can gain some equity in Guyana, the process is always stymied by the PPPC. That's what it looks like. The Guyana Police Force, underpaid. Nurses in Guyana, underpaid. Teachers in Guyana, underpaid. The Guyana Defense Force, grossly underpaid. Come on, guys, the writing is on the wall. I am not making up these things. And yet, you find that PPP supporters come online and they curse you. They curse you from morning to evening. Come on, man. We need to start using our brain more, expanding on our thought process, coming on programs and gaining some measure of knowledge. Okay? You cannot base your vote on color. You have to base your vote on issues, man. All right? You have to base your vote on issues. Vote according to the issues. Look at those rice farmers the other day. They are crying for help. And my answer to that, while I am with them, they do need help. I'm asking for them to take those same emotions to the ballot box when they cast their vote and cast their vote for change. Beverly and Romaine, I'm looking at you again. I think Mr. Norton will be a good president if he have the cooperation. Yes. Hey, look, if you have cooperation and you're tapping into the resources and you trust the resources around you, you're as good as the resources around you. You're as good as the resources around you. Right? As a public accountant, I'm a leader of teams. I lead my teams. I have different teams depending on what engagement I'm addressing. And you're as good as your team. You need information from them. When they take certain approaches, they need to explain why they took that approach and also show me proof. Let's hit the regulations, highlight the area, and show me what you're pulling and giving to me. So yes, I don't doubt that. I think all three candidates will do very, very well. But we can't, and while I agree with my sister, we can't even start speaking of that as yet because we don't have a formed coalition. So if we don't have a formed coalition, we don't have a presidential and a prime ministerial candidate. You don't have that. And I would like to see a combined letter from the entire opposition also. A letter with all of them, combined opposition to the PPP, questioning them about their tactics regarding Melissa Ann Atwell. She's a Guyanese. She's a Guyanese, and our advocacy was against the PPPC. Yeah, she was unbiased in certain areas where she had a few things to say also about the opposition. But we shouldn't take things to heart. When you're in politics, your skin can't be thin. You got to understand that you're going to have people that's going to criticize you and people who are going to say things. You got to be prepared for that, especially if you're guilty of not executing. But again, I come back to the fact that she's a Guyanese and she needs to be represented. She needs to be represented. Look, we need to start seeing movements, with regards to a coalition coming together. Because I could promise you guys, tonight is a calm night. I'm keeping things, quite calm tonight. But if I don't see movements, I cannot promise you that in the coming weeks it's going to be calm. Okay? The Guyanese people are waiting. And to all my brothers and sisters in this social media activism, group, I urge you to get aggressive also. It is not fair to the Guyanese people. That's what it's coming down to for me. It's not fair to them. I got to look at what is fair and what is equitable for the Guyanese people, because that's my purpose here. Right? I got to look at what is fair and what is equitable for them. And there are many others like myself out there. I'm asking you guys to come to the forefront. Come to the forefront. Okay? And let's deal with this issue once and for all. There needs to be equitable governance in Guyana. I don't care which way you twist it, which way you turn it. I don't care which country wants to come in and infringe on Guyana's laws and control the narrative in Guyana. Once you are bringing equity to the Guyanese people, we don't have a problem. But as soon as you see that you infringe on our laws and you're just coming and taking out of our country, okay? And when people come into your country, you're throwing them out. Look, ladies and gentlemen, please put me on record as saying this. The United States of America is a great country. Okay? Don't get me wrong. It's a country of many opportunities. Okay? In certain states in the United States of America, there is such a melting pot that you can find every ethnic group in some of the states, many of the states in the United States. But I want to make this point so clear, okay, that the United States of America was built on the back of slavery. Wall Street was built on the back of slavery. Okay? So when people walk up to you and tell you, you need to get out of their country, get out of whose country? The American Indians' country? The American Indians' country? I'm just saying this because people have to be careful. You have to be careful how you address people. And when we look around the world and we look at inventions, look at the amount of things that Africans have invented and Americans of African Americans have invented also. You cannot look at a man of color and say that he does not contribute to society and he does not deserve the same treatment and equity from society as anyone else. But yet people want to sit down and say that, oh, this guy is smart. He is so intelligent. He's the next Einstein. Einstein who? When you look at a man of color that has 2 eyes, a mouth, ears, 2 hands, 2 legs, and you want to look at him as if he's inferior to you, are you intelligent? You can't be. You're contradicting yourself. If you look at him and you don't feel as if he's your equal and you want to at the same time call yourself intelligent. Look, man, brothers and sisters, I got to say to you guys, when I come on here, man, I want to speak nothing but the truth. I want to speak nothing but the truth. Okay? Nothing but the truth. I have a love for people, all people. But my expectation of all people is to treat each other with love, dignity, and respect. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Nothing else. Love, dignity, and respect. All right? Don't love based on pigmentation. It's just pigmentation. We're supposed to be smart beings, right? It's just pigmentation. All right? Brothers and sisters, on the ground in Guyana, I said it last week and I'll say it again this week. Lift your heads up. Lift your heads up. Speak to your children. Edify them, man. Edify your children. Empower your children. All right? I need to see high encouragement when it comes to sending your children to school and making sure that they're going to school. High encouragement. Free university has been reintroduced. Parents on this broadcast, if you have a child that is going or children that are going to University of Guyana, please provide me some feedback on the process. Okay? Social media has done a great job in fighting to reintroduce free university education in Guyana. And we would like to know, how the process is working for you guys. I think it's only right that you guys do that, We're not asking for big thank yous, but that would be nice if we can get some feedback on how the process is working. It's obvious that, we wouldn't get feedback from the PPP government. Chandra Paul Mahabir. He says, Wayne, keep up the excellent work every week. Vote for the coalition in 2025 general and regional elections. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mahabir. You've been contributing tremendously on the programs also. Marlon Thomas, you missed the program last week. You was in Vegas. Okay, you got homework to do. Make sure you get on it this evening, please. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting to hit the point where we're coming down to closing time. I see Rhonda Lane is here. 19 fraud charges. 19 fraud charges. Announces the date. For the upcoming regional and general elections. Well, they haven't given out an exact date, but they're throwing out probable time frames at the moment. But what's the saying, ladies and gentlemen? I know people like Rhonda Lane would know this. To fail to prepare is to prepare to fail. We want to be a prepared coalition. We want to be a prepared coalition. This election must be competitive. All MPs should be there with the leaders. We should be seeing a robust war room at Congress Place. A war room that is equipped and prepared to fight this uphill battle that's ahead. The MPs, the Member of Parliament, and people who are aligned with the parties that is hosting programs on Facebook, they need to keep the programs on Facebook, but come out from your office or your kitchen or wherever you are and go hang out at Buxton Line Top, Golden Grove Market, Victoria Road Front, and Pleasance Line Top, and Sophia and South Rumvelt, and these places. You need the show need to move to the road, because the advantage for the coalition opposition lies with the people on the ground. There's no financial advantage. You're nowhere in the ballpark with the PPP from a financial perspective. You cannot hire a lobbying firm. What you do have in your favor is a lot of Facebook programs, a la this one, Straight Up, and all the other presenters, okay, who is lobbying in favor for a change in government. That's an advantage that you have. You need to get out and work the villages by day, and then by night, when you come and you sit down and you're cooling off, you could invite yourself to one of these programs, and you could tell the Guyanese people about your accomplishments for the day. I believe on the side of the opposition, they're lacking when it comes to advice. You need some experts to give expert advice. Not even experts, because when I look at you guys' comments and I read you guys' comments after these programs, I see some great advice. I also see great suggestions. Okay? Great advice, great suggestions. The opposition needs to come together and start executing on behalf of the Guyanese people. It is high time. How close are you guys going to let this get? How close are we going to be to an election before you guys finally see that we have a coalition? And then when you're finished saying that, your expectation is that the people of Guyana and us, the social media presenters, we must be satisfied. And when we're dissatisfied, as Mark Benchcop says it, everybody bombs freeze. Well, if I'm dissatisfied, it's going to be that people bumps is going to raise. That's all. There's nothing else. Okay? Nobody could get me to switch from what I want to say or what I believe. Nobody. That's just who I am. Okay? So we need to get going. We need to get going. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the other things that really disturbed me is when I watch this fight between two members of the public and two members of the Guyana Police Force. And mind you, they were all Guyanese of African descent. It was troubling. Okay? I was disappointed in what I saw. All right? It is showing that
what's the police start your phone out here?
Bossy chain. This is fun.
Let's all to them beating me. Why? Video them, video. What big fight? What they do themselves fighting? What they do themselves fighting? Run down in the back of the yard. Look, he come with the spade. Oh shit! They could get shoot, you know. They could get shoot them by beating them. This is like desperate. They get charged, you know.
If you ask me if I would encourage any young individual, doesn't matter ethnic group, to join the Guyana police force, no, I wouldn't. I would not. The citizenry is losing a lot of respect for members of the Guyana police force, and it mainly starts at the top, where there is no confidence in the top brass of the Guyana police force. They have shown themselves to be very, very corrupt and allegedly involved in a lot of corrupt activities. So that does not trickle down, and that does not, the optics of that is not good across society in Guyana. So the Guyana police force is going to start to see more and more resistance from the community. The people are not satisfied, and we have to keep in mind that it is taxpayers' money. Okay, it is taxpayers' money that pays the salary of the Guyana police force, and also, provide them with the resources that they need to do their job. All right, there is something called courtesy, and the young man with the camera may have invaded the police officer's space. He may have, but it does not give the police officer the right to snatch his phone out of his hand or bat his phone out of his hand, whichever one happened. It doesn't give you the right to do that. You want to keep tensions down. You want everything to come to a good solution and everybody walk away safe. Now, that hit with that shovel is dangerous. It could have severed an artery in the officer's neck. A lot of things could have happened. That was very dangerous right there. Also was dangerous is that officer taking the helmet and hitting that civilian in the head also. That could have caused tremendous trauma. And these guys, they got so angry that it was an all-out war. Look at the optics of that, Mr. Robeson-Ben. Look at the optics of that, Irfan Ali. And you guys will see how you guys as a government has angered the society. Okay, you have angered the society. Okay, your behaviors, your management of the resources in Guyana and at the government level, have been wanting. Total incompetence, right? But as I leave this evening, right, I ask that everyone continue to hold our sister Melissa Atwell in prayer. Okay. I see Ann John is posting something here with an MMG. I guess it may be yes, it is for donation, so you guys can look and check on that. Okay. And just make sure that it's authentic. And let's do our best, as far as keeping our sister in our prayers. As she continues to deal with the current situation that is in front of her. You guys stay safe. Have a good week, and let's hope that this week is not as eventful. This coming week is not as eventful as the one that we have just that is now coming to an end at 12 midnight. Keep our heads up. Remember, Guyanese, I urge you guys, walk with your heads up. Do not allow a government to intimidate you or subjugate you to any illegal actions implemented by government. Walk with your heads up. It's the Guyanese people, again, who will determine who sits in government. Ladies and gentlemen, there needs to be, again, I plead with you guys, there needs to be a change at the hem of government in Guyana. We are losing tremendously. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, I love you all and have a great week. Good night.